Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. Did a HAARP or HAARP-like facility bust a hole into the ionosphere? Did it literally destroy the atmosphere as we know it, hence all the chemtrail spraying that's going on? And the official status quo storyline for the conspiracy is to block the sun and cool the weather, which it very well might have somewhat of an effect like that. But check this out. HAARP schedules first experiments since the UAF takeover. Now, let me read this to you real quick. Experiments are scheduled through the end of the month at the High Frequency Active Research Program on HAARP facility. It's the first time science is being conducted at the Ionospheric Research Station in Gacona since the University of Alaska Fairbanks took it over from the Air Force in 2015. Now, there was a big experiment that took place in 2014, and then they shut it down, and the Air Force was like, oh, we're going to, here you go. You guys can have it, University of Alaska. We don't want it anymore. What did they do? And it makes me wonder, because I go back to 2011 when I did a 3,500-mile motorcycle trip on a dual sport BMW 650 GS. Now, the thing's built like a tank. It's just not the most comfortable bike to do 3,500 miles. And I did it in 7 days. Started in Texas, drove through Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming. It was amazing. And everywhere I went, I saw just mass amounts of chemtrails. And I remember going to the national parks. I remember I was in the Canyonlands in Utah, and you could barely see the, far on the horizon because of just all the chemtrail that it came down. And it was just this nasty haze, and I had never seen anything like it. And growing up in the Four Corners area, well, outside of there a couple of hours, but growing up out there, I knew what it was like. And when I went back in 2011, it was just everywhere you went, it was nasty. You'd go. I was in Colorado, and you could barely see a couple of ridges over because of all the chemtrails. And you could just see this stuff fall from the skies. And even I was talking to older people about it, and they're, people older than myself, and they're like, yeah, we've never seen anything like it either. The rangers said they thought it had something to do with the forest fires, yet at that specific time, no forest fires were going on, especially in that area. And the rangers didn't know because they saw it too. They were trying to put two and two together and use Occam's razor and not be conspiracy theorists. Yet, not only is there HAARP, ladies and gentlemen, there's multiple facilities like HAARP. And HAARP is actually being reopened, and they're going to do more tests. Now, let me tell you what we do know, what is public knowledge about HAARP. HAARP does these tests where they blast several megawatts, highly focused, essentially, like laser beam status almost, into the ionosphere, and they heat it up with high amounts of energy. Now, a lot of people are like, well, what's the ionosphere? I know it's a part of the atmosphere, but what is it? You can see it's far out into space. It's over 50 miles out from the ground here, 50 miles to over 100 miles, and it's different parts of the atmosphere. You've got different regions, different layers. And what it's doing is it's protecting us from radiation, essentially, from the not the atmosphere, from the radiation from the stars and stuff, and from outer space, if you believe in that sort of thing. So, essentially, the ionosphere is composed of three main parts named for obscure historical reasons. The D, E, and F regions, the electron density is highest in the upper, or F region. The F region exists during both daytime and nighttime. During the day, it is ionized by solar radiation. During the night, by cosmic rays. The D region disappears during the night compared to the daytime, and the E region becomes weakened. Now, that's why I've wondered before, when you look at the sky, and it's just not nearly as blue as it used to be. The past couple of days, it was great, because I didn't see any chemtrails going on until yesterday, and then they just started blasting again. Let me make this a little bit bigger just to kind of give you an idea here. So imagine enormous amounts of energy being blasted into the ionosphere and then testing that to see how they can create a hole. And yes, it's used for communication purposes also. They're trying to see how easy they can use satellites and other technologies to bounce back and forth and communicate with each other. And I get that. Yet, is it worth destroying the planet for? And then, let's take this a step further. Here is a article that I pulled up. This is an older article, actually, that talks about experiments done with Los Alamos, because Los Alamos has actually blasted energy into the ionosphere. I did some research, or maybe not the ionosphere, a different part of the stratosphere, atmosphere. Did a podcast a while back. I've got the link there that talks about how Los Alamos did these just incredibly powerful experiments where they blasted energy out into the atmosphere. And this one right here talks about, literally, look at the bottom of this. A significant depletion of ionospheric plasma was produced by a chemical release experiment in the F-layer ionosphere over Hawaii. The results of measurements of the hole produced in the ionospheric plasma are reported. It's right there. They blasted holes into the ionosphere. I just showed you what the ionosphere was. The F region. So let's go back here. The F region, they blasted a hole into the atmosphere, and they bitch about hairspray. I mean, seriously? Are people that ignorant? Okay, so let's go over here to the high frequency active auroral research program. You scroll down here a little bit, and you can see that the conspiracy theorist. I'm going to get into a study that was done from some psychologists in the UK about conspiracy theorists and how they're oftentimes much more sane than the sane ones, the ones that aren't conspiracy theorists. So here we go. And HAARP program began in 1990. Senator from Alaska, Republican Ted Stevens, helped with approval for the facility. In early May 2013, HAARP was temporarily shut down, awaiting a change between contractors who operated the facility. In July 13, HAARP program manager James Keeney said Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency is expected on site as a client to finish up some research in fall of 2013. The temporary shutdown was described as being due to contractor regime change. Alaska Native corporations serving the region of Alaska where the HAARP site is located was reported in talks to take over the facility administration contract from Marsh Creek. Now, while experiments ended in the summer of 2014, the complete shutdown and dismantling of the facility was postponed until at least May of 2015. So when you scroll down here some more, you can see, obviously, it was funded by the Office of Naval Research, the Air Force. But there's other locations that use these types of facilities as well. Here we go, related facilities. There's two related ionospheric heating facilities. The Hypus near Fairbanks, Alaska, which was dismantled in 2009, supposedly. The Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. The European Incoherent Scatter Scientific Association also operates an ionospheric heating facility, say that backwards 3 times really quick, capable of transmitting over 1 gigawatt of affected radiated power. 1 gigawatt! That's insane. Near Norway, Russia has the Sura ionospheric heating facility, capable of transmitting 109 megawatts. So, they're like, yeah, well, that sounds like a lot, but how much really is that? Well, a megawatt is 1,000 kilowatts, and the average family of 4 consumes about 900 kilowatts of power a month. So, essentially, 1,000 times the average family of 4's consumption of power blasted directly into the ionosphere times 190 at that one facility. That's got to be so good for our environment. Thank goodness they love us so much. And when you get into the chemtrails and all that might be associated with some of these chemtrails and stratosphere aerosol injections, well, IBM has transistors that are literally 10,000 times thinner than a human hair. 10,000 times thinner than a human hair. Think about that for a minute. TheGuardian.com. Moore's Law wins. New chips have circuits 10,000 times thinner than hairs. So IBM, and this was 2 years ago that we know about, could they be spraying these things in the, or something similar to this for sensor type applications? Could they be spraying nanosensors in the chemical trails? And what happens when all this aluminum and these different elements get lodged into your body, and HAARP just blasts out this ionospheric death beam ray towards you or towards a certain facility, maybe everything. You guys think about this for a minute. Maybe everything has already been exposed somehow with these microchips or sensors. Maybe that's another reason for these sinister chemtrail stratospheric aerosol injection applications, to literally lodge everybody with these nanosensors to keep track of everybody all the time, create sims within these people so they can do simulations of what these people are doing and what kind of threat matrix they're going to have. And then if they need to take them out, hey, if they're causing a problem, boom, instant heart attack, boom, instant stroke, boom, instant amnesia, boom, instant schizophrenia, boom,
Shapeshifter, reptile overlord, don't give me a harp on.
I mean, imagine the different kind of things that they could do with HAARP or a HAARP-like technology. And we know of many of them now that are literally around the world. Some of them are even more powerful than the one in Alaska. So, okay, we went over how it actually blasts these high-powered beams into the ionosphere. Check this out. That's a pretty cool. Oh, wait. You guys can't see it. Haha. Where'd it go? There we go. All right. So, you see this right here? Oh, wait. Never mind. There it is. Okay. See what I mean? HAARP's getting me right now. I blame it all on HAARP. HAARP did it. HAARP did it, officer. Okay. Isn't this a nice piece of art? I'll bet you that took somebody some time to do that, right? How long do you think it would take you to paint that or draw that? Now look at the detail. Look at all the individual dots and specks. How much time would that take you? I don't think I could do it. Well, there is a really cool cynetics is what it's called. It's called cynetics. And cynetics is sound changing matter. So you can put a whole bunch of sand on a piece of paper and get some Tibetan bowls and hit them a couple of times, or get some wine bottles that have different amounts of wine in them, and like when you do the wine sounds and stuff, or you could even do the Mongolian throat singing. Sorry about that. No, that's pretty cool though, right? Did you see the sand change right there? So cynetics. Well, let's take cynetics to the next level. With all the different cell phone towers that are available around the world, the 5G, the 4G, the 3G, the Wi-Fi towers, the satellites, the different sensors that have been scattered around the globe that we know about. Hewlett-Packard did the Central Nervous System of the Earth program starting back in, I think, 2008, where they wanted to put 1 trillion microscopic sensors around the world to keep track of everything. Well, imagine certain elements getting lodged in people and being able to be controlled via frequency, via sound waves, being sent cell phone tower, satellite, a high-definition television, going out to a movie theater. I'll tell you, the new commercials, the new Coca-Cola commercials at the theater talk about subliminal, liminal. It just makes you want to drink one and eat some popcorn and watch a movie and kick back and relax right then and there because it's just so amazing. I mean, it literally like takes you into the soda and you're like swimming in the soda. It's like, and you're just, and I never want to drink a soda that has high fructose corn syrup in it or any of those nasties. Every once in a while, I'll pick up like a local brew that doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, and doesn't have the benzenite and all the different colorings and BPH lining the outside of the bottle for extra estrogen levels and stuff like that. That'll be good, but I won't touch any of the corporate junk. And very rarely do I have a soda with just cane sugar anyway, but on occasion, I'm more of a kombucha guy. So imagine, let's take this to the next level. Everybody's got, let's just say everybody and everything is blanketed with specific elements and different nano sensors, essentially, or an element that could be used as a nanosensor because of these technologies that can bounce information back and forth, and these sensors and vibrations back and forth, well, it could pick up. If there's aluminum in your body and if there's different stuff in your body, imagine a machine that could actually track you based on what's in your body. And they could do a specific algorithm and have a profile based on just what's in you that machine is picking up. You know, aluminums, bariums, and whatever else you've eaten that's actually a specific element that is a part of your body in essence. There's got to be different forms out there. They probably have things right now that they're doing, satellite type technologies that can track that kind of stuff. But let me show you some more interesting things here also. Listening to some interesting techno in the background. Okay, this is where it gets really fun too. This is taking the conspiracy to the next level. Oh wait, the commercial just turned on here. No. Get out of there. Here we go. Okay. Self-stacking nanogrids. Yeah, that's right. Self-stacking nanogrids. MIT News, on campus and around the world. Check this out, mit.edu, news.mit.edu. Self-stacking nanogrids, polymer nanowires that assemble in perpendicular layers, could offer route to tinier chip components. Yeah, because they're not small enough. I mean, 10,000 times thinner than a human hair isn't small enough. They need to make them smaller. So here's how you do it. Self-stacking nanogrids. Is the atmosphere filled with self-stacking nanogrids? Seriously. Is that the New World Order agenda, that they love us so much that they blow up the ionosphere, the top layers of the ionosphere, doing experiments like, well, that's okay because we have something that we can sell you. And then they just take taxpayer dollars and black budget funds and everything else, you know, and whatever, and then create something new, create a new opportunity for the New World Order. Man, I'm glad they love us. Aren't you guys glad that they love us? It's a good thing they love us, because if they didn't, my goodness, could you imagine? Self-stacking nanogrids. Nano. Smart dust. We all know about smart dust. Yeah, they've been using this stuff for decades, literally. They used this stuff in Iraq in the First World War to keep track of dissidents and movements and, you know, troops and tanks and bombs and, you know, mines, all sorts of stuff. Well, it's gotten quite advanced. Well, here's where it gets really good. Self-replicating nanostructures made from DNA. Self-replicating nanostructures made from DNA. Gray goo, hello. Now, maybe not quite gray goo status yet, but we're getting there. And if we're not there yet, maybe there's another entity that is there, and they have our best interest at heart, of course. Now, talking about a megawatt. Well, a megawatt is a unit for measuring power, obviously. A megawatt hour is equal to 1,000 kilowatt hours. I just told you about that. The average annual electricity bill yearly in the U.S. is 10,802 kilowatts, 900 kilowatts per month. So these things are blasting, 2, 3, or more megawatts. Sometimes that one in Russia has the opportunity to do 190 megawatts at once into the atmosphere, into the ionosphere. And hairspray is bad for it. Now, this is on naturalnews.com. They're a great website. They have some good articles. This is a study that was published by psychologists Michael J. Wood and Karen M. Douglas of the University of Kent in the UK, entitled What About Building 7? A Social Psychological Study of Online Discussion of 9/11 Conspiracy Theories. The study compared conspiracists to a pro-conspiracy theory and conventionalist. So essentially, there were 2,174 comments collected. 1,459 of them were coded as conspiracist and 715 as conventionalist. And guess who had the guess who had the most hostility? Well, the research showed that people who favored the official 9/11 account were generally more hostile. And those specific comments collected, as far as the ones that were considered conspiracy theorists, were much more rational according to the study done here. Now, once again, that's up for debate. And I know psychologists that are crazier than anybody. So, what do you want to believe? This is the information for you to decide and come up with your own conclusions. Because for the phonics, so it's a method of teaching people to read, by correlating sounds and letters or groups of letters in a specific writing system. Now, I talked about semantics. And I think that is going to finish up the show, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you all very much for joining me. Make sure to go to leakproject.com if you haven't already. Subscribe, become an exclusive member at leakproject.com. Get access to exclusive content. This is the updated website here. There is a really cool section here on the top you can see for premium content. If you click on that, as a premium member, you can get access to some of the exclusive gems that are only available for premium members. Now, I would love to make this free for everybody. I would, yet with the expenses that I have, I do offer a little extra for those that are willing to fork out $10 a month or $50 a year. Now, that is my shameless plug. And if you don't want to pay a dime, and if you don't want to get access to 700 full-featured podcasts, downloadable, ad-free, you can always go to youtube.com/clandestine Time Lord and get access to most of them for free. So I appreciate all your contributions. And for those of you that don't have the extra funds right now, I get it. Trust me, I totally get it. And no problem. You're supporting Leak Project just by watching the shows and supporting our sponsors and sharing the program on Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms and leaving good comments in the comments section. So I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you for everything, ladies and gentlemen. Question everything and be the change you want to see. And did HAARP blow up the ionosphere?